Hi, Steve Gamache here with a Chef Knives to Go a quick look roundup, and Mark sent over a bunch of 210 Gyutos in this batch, and I've got so many to show you. I've had to lower my board so you'll see off the edges of the board. But so this is the Chef Knives to Go 210 Gyuto Roundup number 4, and this has such a wide variety of knives of price ranges and styles and construction and weight and grind and edge profiles. It's amazing the diversity of these 210 Gyutos. So without further ado, here we have the Kotosaki R2 Western or Yo handled knife. Again, I'm not going to say 210 Gyuto beyond the first time here. Here we have the Kotosaki R2 Yo handled, and this one is a thinner, lighter blade than the Western handle with a different pattern on it. Here we have the Kajiwara Blue No. 2 Damascus. This one has, and I should back up with the R2s, these both have a stainless cladding on each side of the core, so it's all stainless blade. The Kajiwara is the opposite. This has a soft iron Damascus cladding on both sides of a reactive carbon steel core, Blue No. 2, so this is an all-reactive blade. This has a heavier grind, it's a heavier blade. Here we have the Mizuno Hanten Blue No. 2 Gyuto. It's a 210 millimeter, but it's only about 203, about 200 millimeter on the edge, versus some of these are in the 215 to 216 range. So it's a much smaller Gyuto than some of these other ones. And that particular one is also iron cladding over Blue No. 2 all reactive blade. Here we have the Masakage Kiri, which is all stainless. So that's a stainless Damascus cladding on each side of a VG10 stainless core. And we've got the Kohetsu Aogami Super stainless clad Western handled knife. So you've got a stainless cladding over Aogami Super core. You've got this particular one is the Yoshimitsu Aogami Super Gyuto. So this has an iron, soft iron reactive cladding with a Kiryu or Kuruuchi finish over the top of that Aogami Super core. This particular one is the Yoshimune White No. 1 Gyuto, 210 millimeters. So this has stainless patterned cladding over the top of that White No. 1 reactive carbon core, so stainless over carbon. And this particular one is all mono steel, so it's the same steel. It's the Yosuke White No. 2 Gyuto. It's a 210, but it's only about 205 on the edge, so some of these are in the 215 range, and some of these are like 205 and 200. So you've got anything from shorter blades to longer blades, and anything from less tall blades. This particular one's only about 42.5 millimeters high, versus the one right above it is, I think, a little over 50. And so you've got a variety of heights as well. Edge profiles vary all over the board. From this Yoshimitsu, which has a fair amount of belly to it. This has a fair amount of belly throughout the knife for a gentle curve and rocking. This is not a very good push cutting or chopping blade. There's not really any flat spot to speak of on that particular blade. To something like the, let's take the Kotosaki R2 Western, which has a fair amount of flat spot towards the heel with a gentle curve. So quite a bit different board feel on these two knives. And then anything from picking up a ultra light blade like this Yosuke, which is really, really light. It's let's see, about 4.1 ounces, to something much more substantial in the hand, like this Yoshimune has quite a more substantial feel to it and a little more blade heavy feel. It's got a much more pointed tip on it versus some of these other ones. It's just, there's such a variety here. The Kajiwara is a rather heavy blade with a rather thick grind that convexes right into the edge core steel. It doesn't feel super heavy in practice because the handle's actually a little bit heavier, so it kind of offsets that a bit, but it's a blade with some mass to it. So you've got thin lasers, you've got, excuse my head there, thicker knives, just really a nice variety. So there's just all kinds of styles, price ranges for various requirements depending on your core steel, what edge profile you like. One of the things that people really should look at is the edge profile of the knives. I try to show that pretty carefully in my videos because that determines how it performs on the board, and you want something that's compatible with your cutting style. So if you're an all-arounder and do a variety of styles, you want a knife that has a bit of a flat spot with a gentle curve throughout, so you can do some rocking, some push cutting, pull cutting, chopping, those kind of things. If you chop primarily and push cut and you want something with a longer flat spot, then you need to look at something with a flatter overall profile that doesn't have much belly necessarily. So there are quite a variety of edge profiles on these that you can get kind of tailored to your style of cutting and what you like to do. So there you have just a great list of all-around Gyutos, and we've got an overlay showing there to show you what all they are, but just quite a range of prices, styles, and flavors. So there you go, Chef Knives To Go 210 Gyuto Roundup number 4.